Welcome to NBA Now by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff. A little bit of a fun video here today where we're going to break down the latest NBA news over the past week or so because we've gotten extensions and the season has tipped off, where we also have some injury news to talk about. This is NBA Now, and we'd appreciate you guys if you come in and hit the thumbs up icon on today's show. We're trying to put out more content here on the channel, and if you want more videos, well, make sure you hit that thumbs up icon. All right, we're going to start with the injury news, and we'll go to Dejounte Murray here. Murray is the star acquisition of the New Orleans Pelicans in this offseason when they traded some picks and some young talent to Atlanta to acquire Murray. Well, in the season opener against the Chicago Bulls, he actually sustained a fractured left hand against the Bulls. Now, the Pelicans did win this game, but it came obviously at a cost. No Zion Williamson in this game, by the way, but the Dejounte Murray injury is significant because a fractured left hand will keep him out for an extended period of time. And if the Pelicans want to get better from what they were last season, be a postseason team and not have to worry about the play-in, which was their aspirations after the Murray trade, they're going to need him healthy for the most of the season. And this will keep him out for a decent amount of time. I did some research here, folks, and it all depends on if he gets surgery or lets it kind of heal naturally, if you will. Surgery would, on average, keep him out 40.5 days. That would likely be about 17 games for the New Orleans Pelicans. If he does not go for surgery and opts to let it heal naturally, it is on average keeping him out about 35.2 days. That comes out to about 15 games. So the severity will be very dependent if he chooses to go with surgery or not surgery. They're going to have to go through more tests on Thursday afternoon into Friday in all likelihood. But that is the key here, and that is what we will have to watch out for, because if he does not get surgery, well, he'll be back a little bit sooner than he would if he got surgery. And this is kind of a major blow for the Pelicans, if we're going to be honest, because Murray brings a lot to the table, and it really starts with the defensive end and his playmaking. And he even said it during the preseason how excited he was to get back to his natural point guard role with the Pelicans rather than to what he's been doing over the past couple seasons with the Atlanta Hawks, obviously sharing a backcourt with Trey Young. He will not be sharing a backcourt with a natural point guard. C.J. McCollum goes much more back to his two-guard spot. But now with him out, there isn't really a true backup point guard that can really just hop into the starting lineup and reassume that position. Unfortunately, Jose Alvarado might have to be the next man up here, and I don't know if I truly believe completely in Alvarado manning that point guard spot. McCollum might ultimately have to go to the one, play as the PG in this offense, and maybe the first-round pick and lottery pick in 2023, Jordan Hawkins, actually steps up into that lineup as that movement off-ball shooter to complement Herb Jones, Zion Williamson, and Brandon Ingram when they are fully healthy. It's certainly an intriguing injury that will move this Pelicans roster around, and it's going to affect them in their ability to win. We mentioned Murray. He is so good at playmaking. He almost had a triple-double in the opener against the Chicago Bulls. He can defend with that long wingspan. He really gets into your grill and makes life difficult. He is an extremely talented guy who is unfortunately going to miss some times for the New Orleans Pelicans. And if he is out for the 40 days and 17 games, the Pelicans are going to really have to find a way to get over that hump. All right, we're going to move into some extension news in the NBA because there was a deadline to get some extensions done this past week. And we'll start with a veteran extension from Rudy Gobert. He signed a 3-year, $110 million contract extension. That comes out to about $36.6 million per season for the four-time depoy. And the intriguing thing about this is that they clearly chose him over Karl-Anthony Towns. Obviously, Cat is now a New York Knick. The Timberwolves acquired Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo back in that deal, and it did not go so well for the Timberwolves in their first game of the season, losing on the road to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, there was a lot of rumors and reports out there that as soon as the Cat trade happened with New York, they were going to likely try to finalize an extension with Gobert. They clearly see him as they better fit in that front court to complement Anthony Edwards, their franchise cornerstone. And it'll be intriguing to see how this extension ultimately affects the way they build this roster. They were very much into the cap and over the second apron. They were going to need to get rid of one of their centers, and they chose to get rid of Cat. Randle, going to be a free agent this upcoming offseason, does he ultimately get an extension from Minnesota, or do they say, no, we're good, we'll take the 1 year of Julius Randle, we just extended Rudy Gobert, and that's kind of where things are going to stand in that front court, and maybe they'll try to focus on Naz Reid taking a step up. Currently, their sixth man. It'll be intriguing to see. I'm not the biggest fan of Rudy Gobert, if I'm just going to be completely honest. He's an excellent defender, but to me, he gets exposed when he gets brought out to the perimeter. There's no doubting that he's one of the best, if not the best, rim protector in the NBA, but man, I really do question his ability to defend on the perimeter and ultimately impact winning because he doesn't have that much of an offensive game. We're going to get to some other extensions here in just a second, but we are sponsored by Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform. And if you want to turn your hoops knowledge into cash, make sure you get started with Prize Picks because you can win in as little as 4 correct picks. It's the best way to get on the action with it being available in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value into your lineups. Think Justin Jefferson will go more than 83.5 yards next week? You think LeBron James is going to have more than 20 points? You can cook up your hot takes with friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. We've shown season-long projections. Here you can do it in football, basketball, golf, hockey, baseball. You can do it any way you want to. And right now, if you download the app and use code CLNS, you get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, download the app and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. Yes, you heard that correctly. Guaranteed. Get started with Prize Picks. Run your game. The link is in the description and comments of today's video. All right, we got to move over to the Houston Rockets now because they made a pair of extensions here. And we'll start with the big man inside, Alperen Sengun, signing a 5-year, $185 million contract extension that comes out to about $37 million per season. It didn't come in until late on the deadline this past Monday, but it was the right decision for them to make this move. Sengun has been outstanding as a Rocket here. He's one of the most dynamic big men in the NBA offensively, and he's honestly a Nikola Jokic light. Struggles on the defensive end for sure, but can space the floor, knock down threes. Is one of the best passing bigs in the NBA. It really probably goes Jokic 1, Sengun 2 in terms of playmaking from that center position. And he can gobble up the boards as well. To me, he is the most likely player on this Rockets roster to be their franchise cornerstone. They have a lot of young talent. Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, who we're going to talk about here in just a second. The 3rd overall pick, Reed Shepard. Jabari Smith, a former top 3 pick. But Sengun is the #1 guy out of them all, and it was the right decision locking him up over the next 5 seasons for what, in my opinion, feels like a bargain at only $37 million per season. That feels like it's going to be a steal in about 2 years when he continues to evolutionize his game. But the other man that they extended, Jalen Green, the former top 3 pick as well at the 2-guard spot, getting a 3-year, $106 million extension, $35.3 million per season. And unlike Sengun, I actually think this is a little bit of a mistake if you are the Houston Rockets. To me, there's just so much talent on this team in terms of their youth and athleticism that they could have let one of their young guys go. And I know Green is an established 18-point-per-game, 20-point-per-game scorer that can do it from all 3 levels, but he's inefficient. He doesn't defend. He plays that AAU-style brand of basketball that just simply doesn't seem to work in the National Basketball Association. And sure, he has some unbelievable highlight plays that make you think, wow, this guy can be special, but paying him $35.3 million, I'm not so sure that was the best decision, especially when you got that Fred VanVleet contract currently. You are going to eventually, at least in my opinion, I thought they were going to try to turn the keys into that backcourt into a Amen Thompson, Reed Shepard backcourt. And I'm a big fan of Thompson. He can defend. He plays basketball the right way, defending, getting on the boards, and getting downhill and attacking the rim. Shepard, the guy from Kentucky you just drafted, is someone who can do it all, and defensively, facilitating, shooting. To me, you ultimately are going to have to move off one of these young guards, and there's just not enough room for all of them. I think Jalen Green was the most likely to be that guy, but ultimately Houston give him $35 million per season, and they're going to stick with him, even though I do think that's a little bit of a mistake. Another extension coming in. We already talked about the Pelicans and Dejounte Murray, but how about Trey Murphy signing a 4-year, $112 million contract extension coming out to $28 million per season? And out of all the contract extensions that we're going to talk about today, I think Trey Murphy is the best one. I am so happy for the Pelicans that they locked him down. He is one of my favorite players in the league to watch. And whenever I do watch Trey Murphy play, I feel like he shoots 8 of 10 from 3, and he simply never misses. He's got a sweet stroke from beyond the arc. He's lengthy. He's tall. He defends. He is the total package as a wing. Is he going to be a top 2, top 3 player on a championship contending team? Maybe not. But you talk about that fourth guy to complement your big three, Murphy might be the best one out there to do that. And who's there to say that there's no chance for him to develop into one of those guys that becomes more of an on-ball initiator and creator? Right now, that's not his role, but maybe he's able to develop into that role. I wouldn't put it past him. He's just doubted. He's gone past all the haters, all the doubters out there, and performed whenever he is called upon. I think this is a fantastic deal for the New Orleans Pelicans to lock up one of their big key guys here in that rotation. They already locked up Herb Jones. We're just going to continue to get those guys locked in here and continue to build a winning culture around Zion, Dejounte Murray, and CJ McCollum. We got another contract extension to talk about in just a second, but make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're breaking down all news, rumors around the NBA, whether it's myself, whether it's Patrick Seatman. We have a great crew here at Chat Sports, so make sure you hit that sub button for more NBA news and rumors, but we also talk about NFL, college football, and everything in between. All right, last extension we're going to talk about before we talk about 2 non-extensions to round out the show. Jalen Suggs. This wasn't as intriguing to me. The point guard for the Orlando Magic signed a 5-year, $150.5 million contract extension worth $30.1 million per year. I think Jalen Suggs is a fine player. He's an excellent defender. He gets into your grill, and he can handle the rock pretty solidly in that Magic offense, even though they do run it mostly through Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, who are simply sensational as a duo in terms of their ability to get downhill, score, draw the defense in, and create for others, but also knock down three-pointers when they are called upon to do so. Which is why I don't completely understand this Jalen Suggs extension. To me, they should have saved this money and used it for someone to really complete that backcourt. The one thing that the Magic are missing from becoming an NBA championship contender, in my opinion, is a true guard that can create their own shot and alleviate some of the pressure for Wagner and Banchero in that front court. That's why I was so high on the potential marriage of a Paul George Orlando Magic signing this past offseason. I thought George would have been that guard in the backcourt to really complement Wagner and Banchero as well as be a veteran leader. They don't get him. They have money to spend. They had KCP in free agency stealing him from the Denver Nuggets and then give Suggs an extension. And just thinking about the players. Now, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just a Trey Murphy lover and a believer. But I would much rather have Trey Murphy than Jalen Suggs. I simply would. And Suggs got paid a little bit more. Not crazy. It's only about $2 million per season more over one more year. But I think the value of a Trey Murphy 4 for $112 is just instrumentally better than a Suggs 5 for $150.5 million contract. I think Suggs is a good rotation piece, but paying him $30 million to be that lead guard for you in the backcourt, to me, I'm not a big fan of this deal. Hopefully I get proven wrong, but I'm not a big fan of Suggs getting that much money from the Orlando Magic. All right, to round out today's show, we'll talk about Jonathan Kuminga and Josh Giddey because those were the 2 notable rookies that did not get their rookie extension from that 21 draft class. And it's intriguing. And I'll start with Josh Giddey before we talk Kuminga. I think Giddey makes a lot of sense to not extend him. Chicago obviously traded Caruso to get Josh Giddey. They are unsure of how he will fit with this team, how he will play, how he will improve. There's questions about his jump shot, but there's no debating that he is one of those guys that could potentially become a unicorn with his height, defense, playmaking. If he's able to develop a shot and shoot 36, 37% from 3 consistently and not get sagged off, which was the reason why he was borderline unplayable for the Thunder in this past postseason run, well, then maybe he can be someone worth extending, and maybe the Bulls see that this year and ultimately give him a contract before free agency or just re-sign him in NBA free agency. But on Jonathan Kuminga to round out today's show, he turned down a contract from Golden State. I think it was around $30 million that was reported. He wanted more. He didn't get more. And now he doesn't sign an extension. And you wonder how this will affect his play this season. Is he going to be consistently playing with that looming contract on his head to where he thinks he's got to go out there, play well, get his stats, get his money in the future by playing well now? Or will he just sit back, play his role, and make the improvements? My own guy, Tyler Smith, was not happy with the way Jonathan Kuminga played in Game 1 against the Portland Trail Blazers, although the Warriors did win that game in a pretty big blowout. Blazers might just be bad, though. Kuminga doesn't sign that extension and now will be a restricted free agent this upcoming class. He might be one of the top free agents out there, but like I said, with him being restricted, the Warriors will have the chance to match any potential contract he's given. We'll ultimately see if he does that or gets a contract and leaves Golden State. But either way, the two players that were the most notable that did not receive their extension were Jonathan Kuminga and Josh Giddey. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. A little bit of a longer one here, but I thought it'd be cool to come up here, hop, just no graphics, really just get talking ball with all of you and breaking down all the news inside the NBA. If you want more talk, news on the NBA, follow me on X/Twitter at Nic_Rohloff is my handle. Appreciate everyone who gives me a follow over there. Until next time, see ya.